After one of my lectures about Islam at a Catholic church in the UK, I was asked about the hijab. So I asked them, how many among you have seen Muslim women dressed in hijab before? Of course, they all raised their hands. Next I asked, tell me honestly, did you ever wonder why Muslim women are dressed that way? If so, please raise your hands. And because I had asked them to be honest, I had encouraged them to be frank. So 90% of them raised their hands again. Next, I showed them a picture of the Virgin Mary. And I asked them, do you know who this is? They replied, the Virgin Mary. Whose mother is she? I asked. They said, the mother of Jesus Christ. Very well, I said. Now in your eyes, what is she considered? They said, she's the mother of God. I said, in our eyes as Muslims, she's not the mother of God, but she is the purest of women, the mother of one of the 5 best people who ever walked this earth, Jesus Christ, Son of Mary, peace be upon him. Next, I showed them a picture of Mother Teresa. I asked them, who is this? They said, Mother Teresa. I then said, isn't she the one who was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize? They replied, yes. I continued, and isn't she the one who founded many organizations for the poor all over the world? Again, they said, yes. I then asked, can you tell me the name of any nun who is better than the Mother Teresa? They said, no, she's possibly the best nun. I said, very well, so is it fair to say that these 2 women are the best 2 women, in your opinion? They said, undoubtedly. Next, I showed them a picture of a Muslim woman. And I said, and this is a Muslim woman. The question I have for you today is, what is the common factor among these 3 pictures? And I displayed all 3 pictures on the screen. They all answered, the hijab. They are all covered completely except for their faces and hands. I said, hold on a minute. 1 minute ago, you were asking me why Muslim women were dressed like that. And now you are saying that they are dressed in the same manner as the women who in your eyes are the greatest women? If anyone has a question regarding the other, it should be the other way around. We should be wondering why you are not dressed like that. Why are you not emulating your role models? Of course, I wasn't trying to convince them to wear hijab. I was just trying to show them that it was about time we stopped stereotyping each other. We both have questions regarding each other. So why don't we sit together and talk? Let us talk about hijab. God Almighty prescribed hijab for women in the Quran as it is clearly stated in the chapter called The Light. It says, and tell the believing women that they should lower their gaze and guard their modesty and not to display their beauty except what ordinarily appears thereof, and that they should draw their veils over their neck opening of their garments. This means that the veil which covers the head should go all the way down to cover the neck opening of the dress. This issue is very clear and does not warrant any debate. Now, why did God order such a thing for the Muslim women? Is it to imitate the Virgin Mary? Is it to imitate Mother Teresa? Of course not. This is an order from God to Muslim women because, to put it simply and frankly, since time immemorial, men have used women as objects for enjoyment. For example, it is not uncommon for men to sit around judging and commenting on women as they pass by, reducing all of a woman's worth down to a few parts of her body, as if she were a car or some other material commodity, and they are discussing the parts of that car. Objectification. Dr. Susan Fiske, a scientist at Princeton University, conducted a study on stereotyping, in which one of the findings was that when men look at women wearing revealing clothing, the part of the brain that becomes active is the same part that becomes active when a man deals with mechanical tools, screwdrivers, wrenches, pliers, and such. That is why God told women to cover up. It's like He's telling them, you are not common property. You are not for public use. Enough is enough. Cover up, Cover up so that people will not regard you in any downgrading way. As I mentioned earlier, hijab is a direct command from God to women. It is not a sign of authority of men over women, not a tool for men to oppress women. If we want to examine where the source of this misconception is rooted, actually it lies in the Bible. In the first epistle Corinthians, chapter number 11, verses 6 to 10, where Paul says, "For if a woman will not veil herself, then her hair should be cut off. But if it is disgraceful for a woman to have her hair cut off or to be shaved, she should wear a veil. For a man ought not to have his head veiled, since he is the image and reflection of God. But woman is the reflection of man. Indeed, man was not made from woman, but woman from man. Neither was man created for the sake of woman, but woman for the sake of man. For this reason, a woman ought to have a symbol of authority on her head." So the misconception here lies in the Christian mindset. However, the Islamic viewpoint of this matter is completely different. There is also another verse in the Quran that tells women that they are not required to wear hijab all the time. It addresses women as such. You are not required to wear it in front of your husbands, your fathers, or other close male relatives who are not allowed to marry you. We call these the maharim. The verse says, "They should not display their beauty except to their husbands, their fathers, their husbands' fathers, their sons, their husbands' sons, their brothers' sons, or their sister's sons, and among your womenfolk." This means that a woman, when among non-relative males, should cover her beauty so that she can go about her daily life as a person without being subject to the judgments or ill treatment of those men who lack respect for women. Of course, that does not apply when she is dealing with her husband or close relatives, the maharim again. This is because men tend to deal with non-relative women as objects of pleasure. Once an American girl who had converted to Islam came to me just 4 days after converting wearing hijab. I said, "Wow, it only took you 4 days to start wearing hijab. It usually takes longer for new converts to feel comfortable and ready to wear hijab." She replied, "Now I feel free." So I challenged her. "I'm not buying this. How can covering yourself up make you feel more free?" She said, "You have no idea how a woman feels when she is somewhere and someone is detailing her with his eyes, staring at her, and she can do absolutely nothing about it. Sometimes I used to feel like, do I have to leave? Or should I hide behind a curtain? Now for the first time, the remote control is in my hand. I can now decide that I will show this particular man only my face and hands. But that other man is my relative, so I can show him like my hair, my arms, a little bit more. Since he won't look at me in that way, I can control everything with my remote control. This is my husband. I will show him whatever I want, whenever I want. For the first time, brother, I am in control."